Day Tripper, the fastest way to plan a brilliant day out. Say where you're going, who you're with, and your vibe. In seconds you get a smart, map-ready itinerary with hidden gems. Ready? Try it out at daytripper.com. A perfect day the easy way.
Today's guest is Spiritual Gangster. He's all known from the podcast anyway, and a couple of weeks back we done a podcast where he revealed himself to be Jesus Christ. This is part 2, where he's come with his evidence to back up his claim. So, Abir, whenever you're ready.
Brilliant. Hi, good morning, afternoon, evening, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a follow-up from the initial part 1. So this part 2, obviously we've got evidences. So you can't just share the identity of the one without evidence and proof. So I've got the proof here today of how I'm going to connect my past miraculous life with evidence, how it aligns through the stars and through scripture in a beautiful way, connecting the past to the present, okay? Which will reveal my identity as the Messiah of Yahweh, Allah, Elohim, as well as the Spirit of God and the Ancient One Indian, and why I say I'm the Ancient One Indian and Krishna and so forth. So I'm going to reveal everything. It all starts with the name Joshua, which was Joshua, but there was no J, so it used to be a Y. So to decode that out of the ancient Hebrew gematria, you need to type in YOSHUA, which has a value of 381. Now, I'm going to share a page which I've printed out, which is here. So I'm going to just put it up here so you guys get to see it. But we're going to upload a digital photograph of this as well. But we're going to share the digital version of this as well. So that's got a value of 381. So what 381 means from the Hebrew Gematria Dictionary is this. 381 means deliverance. It also states it's the earlier name of Joshua, who is what God is also a translation from that, right? So just over here, 381 has a meaning of deliverance. Okay, now the name Jesus, why is Jesus significant when the name was Joshua, right? Jesus is actually in alignment to the year of my birth, and Jesus and Muhammad have the absolute same valuation. So you have a right shoulder and a left shoulder. So if God is the head, God's right hand is Jesus and left hand is Muhammad, and both shoulders are equal. So you got to recognize not one is above the other. Okay, you use your right hand to fight, but you don't, in Islamic perspective, you use your left hand to wash your backside. But you got to recognize your heart is not in the right side, it's in the left side for a reason. So this is for people with intelligence and true spiritual wisdom to recognize what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're going to fast forward now from here. So Joshua equals deliverance. The name Jesus translates from basically YESUS has a value of 130 in Hebrew Gematria. And that comes into alignment with MUHAMMED, exact same valuation, and also MCMLXXXII in Roman numerals equals 1982, obviously, but that is the year of deliverance. So the crescent, moon and star is the symbol of the coming, okay? So that is created, the symbol of the Om, 30, and with the moon and star is the timing alignment of my birth. So that has obviously great significance of the movements of the celestials. But then you got to recognize that here I'm sharing MCMLXXXII, and then here's Jesus, exact same valuation, right? Now we're going to share this on a digital image of this. The Ancient One Indian, Estella, Birth of a Star, Deliverance, MCMLXXXII, Muhammad, these are all in alignment. Okay, so the one who is born has to be in alignment to this. So no false claimant can claim to be me. And if they do, they are basically lying. And this is how you recognize who's a liar and who's truthful, because they're not in alignment with the stars. So Jesus, the name Jesus is in alignment to the year of deliverance. So Joshua and Jesus are in alignment to my identity. Now, it's not ironic or a coincidence that Israel, as in the English way, when you spell Israel with the English alphabet and then you type deliverance in the English alphabet, both have a valuation of 301. Okay, so deliverance and Israel is significant. To recognize what Israel is the title, which my title has been stolen by the fake state of Israel. So my title has been stolen by the fake state, but now my real name, Abir Mirza, which has a valuation of 541, will reveal through the ancient Hebrew gematria the true identity of the name, which is Israel. Okay, so the meaning of 541 through the Hebrew dictionary is God's binding or God wrestling, which is the second name of Jacob, right? So again, I'm revealing to you through name that not only my date of birth aligns with the year, with the prophecies of the Spirit of Truth of the dual eclipses in the month of Ramadan in 1981 and 1982. You had the dual eclipses as well after I was born, so I was born in between of that. My name is basically from the preserved tablet. So this is before creation before even creation came about. So this is before the beginning of time, where God commanded a pen to be created, and the pen had to write the record of every living human that will ever come into the existence on the preserved tablet. So that is where my identity is recorded since the beginning of time. And then through the mother's maiden name, you will see how it reveals that I am the Messiah of Yahweh. Again, this is not a claim, this is destiny in alignment since the beginning of time. So then we go on to the date of birth, 30th of April 1982, which reveals the alignment of the stars, where the sun and the moon and all the other planets are, they are positioned in such a way where they are basically surrendering to the one in the middle. So they are positioned in a fascinating way where it makes two dual stars. But it has to be witnessed, because obviously you guys can't see it, but I've printed it out. It's been taken for granted. So this is 30th of April 1982. Again, I got this from the NASA website. Every human being is able to do that, to go backwards, to print the positioning of the planets from NASA in accordance to your own date of birth. So what I'm showing you guys can do yourself, because this will reveal to you your inner kingdoms. When everyone says everyone's got the spirit of Jesus spirit inside them, that's all a lie. Everyone's got their own unique spirit, which has a unique zodiac, and it's got its own vibrational frequency. So it's very important for every human being to decipher their own date of births and their own names, because you will not learn about your own vibrational frequencies and your own zodiacs by doing other people. You need to do it on yourself. Okay, so it's very important for your own awakening to come into alignment. You need to do it for your sake, for yourself. And once you learn how to do it, you'll be able to do it for your children and your partners, and you'll see the challenges that'll come in their destiny, where how you can help them as a parent, someone with knowledge and wisdom that comes from this. So the 3-eye atlas, the tailed star prophecy, was given by the Spirit of Truth, but it was also given to the ancient people from the pagan age, the old world. The old world people were given this as well, which is called the Blue Hopi prophecy, right? So based on that, from the pagan age of this island that I'm born on, this island was called the island of Avalon. So the Celtic people from the Welsh the Scots and the Irish are the actual original druids of this land. They were pagan, because this goes back before even my coming into the world as a miracle baby, as in Joshua. So this is going back before 2,000 years. So this island was called the island of Avalon, and the people of this island were pagans once upon a time, and the prophecy was given to the people of Avalon that a boy will be born whose name will begin with an A and end with an R. He's going to come at the end of time, where the world will be swallowed and in darkness, and it's going to be bloodshed and wars, nations against nations, and all of this. And at that time there'll be no justice, there'll be no truth or honor, and this boy will grow and come of age, and is going to rise to authority. And basically this story was turned into Sword in the Stone. It basically, this legendary prophecy turned into a legendary story, and this legendary story got taken over by fairy tales, and then Disney took over it, made loads of movies, but it goes back thousands of years. Okay, so when you trace back the history of this story, you'll recognize that this is now coming true, and this was always meant to be about Jesus coming into this island and being born here. But you know, at the end of the day, you guys need to recognize and put it into alignment, because I'm just giving you guys the truth to work it out. So this has come to pass now, and it's in alignment with the stars, and it's in alignment with all religions. So it's not just the Abrahamic faiths, it's all the pagan calendar systems as well. And this is how you guys will learn your kingdom of heaven, as I'll explain to you as I carry on going through this. So okay, so basically that's the 3-eye atlas, which came past the earth on the 19th of December, which was the start of Rajab, which is the month of God in Islamic perspective, with his 4 holy months. And Rajab is the month of God. Shaban is after that, which is the month of the Prophet. And then Ramadan is the month of fasting, which is for the people. Okay, so I'm born in the month of God. Obviously, it's inevitable because I am the Spirit of God. So got a direct connection with the Creator. So when I said me and God are one, people use that as blasphemous words. But it's not blasphemy, because everything I feel, God feels. I know this because he's the one who gave me this spirit. And it was, I never knew why I used to go from 0 to 100 so quick. I can't control this spirit. Do you know what I mean? It's not for me to control. It's too powerful. But now I understand the power of it. And I had to come into alignment to recognize why I go 0 to 100, why I can't control myself. But it is what it is. I can't handle someone speaking lies and dishonesty, so I have to rise up to it. But anyway, this is Jesus. So this is something which was done by a scientist from Warrington, a professor. So this was done over 10 years ago with the real scientists, and they managed to figure out how I look like, which came as a surprise to me over 10 years ago, but I knew it's all gonna work towards this final truth. So again, this is going to be shown to you guys in greater detail, and then we come to the Spirit of Truth, the revelations, what he's left behind as prophecies for my return, which is 3-4 pages. Very important to read all of it, because there's great details in this, which mentions the 3-eye atlas as well as the eclipses of before I come into the world. So there's about 4 pages of this which we're going to upload, and it's important for everyone to read every single detail on here, because this is very crucial into recognizing and putting it into alignment. So this now is, again, now going back to what I kind of explained to you, starting from Joshua earlier on, and then Jesus, why Joshua and Jesus are important, because Jesus and Muhammad are in alignment. As you can see, The valuation and the meaning is exactly the same. So the spirit of truth, which is Muhammad, I gave his revelations in the miraculous life. I said to the world to follow the spirit of truth because he will come shortly after me. So I said, follow the spirit of truth, for he will establish the way. The way is the religion of Islam, and through that way I will return into the world. Now that prophecy, not the prophecy, that statement has not been fulfilled by the people. The people went against that. They didn't follow the spirit of truth. They made their whole new religion, and the religion that the people established through Christianity was actually disbandment and breaking off all the heavenly laws. So when I came into the world as a miracle and I said, do not break any of the covenants, I have come to fulfill the covenants, meaning I fulfilled the covenant of Noah, I fulfilled the covenant of Abraham, meaning that Abraham changed his name was changed to Abraham because God said to him, from this day forth, you are no longer Abraham, you're Abraham, and to honor this covenant, you have to circumcise yourself. All the prophets from that moment onward have always circumcised themselves as males and all their male children of their flock. Why is it that Jesus done this, as in I done this, and then the people have broken this covenant? So the people who follow Christianity today are not following anything that I established. You guys have broken every single commandment and every single law. And then you guys are saying that I am one who's following not the truth, but you guys have broken that truth. I came to establish that truth, and I did, and you guys have broken it after I left. And then the spirit of truth came, and he left the true way for humanity, but his way is opposed, it's rejected, whilst you guys are breaking each covenant and each heavenly law in stages. Yet you say to me that why am I under Muhammad? Well, I'm not. Muhammad came to set the way, who is my brother, and now I've come to take over to teach. For what he's left, you guys have gone into ignorance and you don't understand any of it. So I have come to take away the misty sort of fog that is not allowing you to see through the glass clearly. So when you see a dirty glass with dust in it and you drop a coin, you can't see it. I've come to clear that water and cleanse it so it's absolute clarity so you can see right through it. Okay, so that's my purpose, to reveal the things that you kind of evaded and somehow never made logical sense with. So that's that. Joshua, here again, we're going through this again. So Joshua equals deliverance. So I'm going to share this in order. So Joshua equals deliverance. This is just a page of the 3i Atlas as it was going past the earth, a picture off of it. What Israel means is deliverance in the English alphabet when you spell it, but that is not the ancient Hebrew way to get the true answer from the Hebrew gematria. So there's a book called the Gematria of Numbers, which gives true mathematical answers of numerical values. However, we do not go to the Torah to get the revelation out, because the Torah has been changed by man. So the Bible is not in its true scripture either. It's in an English language. So we have to convert the English to the old language. And once you get the from the Hebrew, you get the valuation, then you get the answers from the Quran. Okay, because the Quran has never changed. So you're getting a direct message from God, essentially. So this is, once I show you how it's done, if you were to do this to your own name, once you study the stars, it'll give you a upliftment anyway. It's like enrichment of knowledge. So the more you learn, you're enriching yourself. It's going to start making sense with your heart, everything, and the brain. But essentially what it'll do is, when you come to the Quran from the Semitic, it's like God talking to you. It's going to bring you to tears. It's going to really hit home deep inside. And this is where you have to go away and meditate and decide what you're going to do, because this is like, you've come to the crossroad. Either you come with the light or you go to the darkness, back into ignorance. It's entirely up to you, but this is how it's going to come when you learn this. And then when you come to the light of truth, you've transformed, you've come to Islam ultimately, because Islam is the ultimate truth. So this is the year of deliverance. And then from the year of deliverance, we're going to advance on to the 3-eye atlas, that every 16 hours, 16 minutes, 1 plus 6 is 7, 7. So 7, 7 is also in alignment to 1447, which also makes 16. And then 1 plus 6 equals 7. So 7, 7, 7. So I was born on 30th April 1982, which was 7th Rajab 1447. But that is Hebrew 7th of Tevet 5786. 786 is a very crucial number for Muslims, but it's not kind of a coincidence now that we are in 5786 of the Hebrew year, which is in alignment to 27th December 2025. Okay, so this is why after the first episode, after I released it, the world now since then is like in rapid decline now. Natural disasters. 19th of December, that 3-eye atlas went past. 19th of January, we had a solar storm which basically penetrated the firmament, which is the ozone layer, meaning now that that solar flare that penetrated the ozone layer has allowed now powers from the external to come into the earthly, where we've got this natural, like these snows, snowstorms and everything in Russia, America, land, everything has accelerated. So this is not going to slow down now. The more knowledge I share with the world means that the more the disasters are going to be, they're going to carry on. The world will carry on going into a decline, because it's inevitable, it's part of the prophecy. So you guys have been warned, and the whole point of me coming out and sharing my truth is that you guys need to know the truth. You can't be not warned and being like believers of falsehood of Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I am not the Son of God. I never claimed to be the Son of God. Not in my past life. I never claimed any of that. I always said I'm the Son of Man, and I can prove that I am the Son of Man today, as well as being the Messiah of Yahweh in the afterlife, Messiah of Allah, however you want to take it on board. But it is the truth, because it reveals it through the stars, through my name, through my mother's name, through my date of birth, through aspects of all religions. I've got the mark on my body, which the Pharisees denied me for. At the end of the day, I didn't make that mark. It's on me. I didn't pick my name. It was given to me. My family name, my bloodline, my lineage is part of me, so you can deny me or accept the truth. It's entirely up to you. It brings me no benefit. What it brings to you is the knowledge that I have to share for you with the world. It's benefit to you people, not for me. It's beneficial for you because you guys will awaken your inner self and come into alignment with your purpose, and it'll benefit you guys. So I'm sharing this knowledge for your benefit. The only thing that I could say to you guys of benefit to me, which I'm going to be very honest with, is that if you people wake up in a wholesome way, shoulder to shoulder throughout the world, and the people of the world wake up, the whole of England unites, France, Germany, whole of Europe unites, whole of Middle East, whole of India, Pakistan, China, the whole of the world. If people of the world wake up to this spiritual truth, then there's hope for humanity, because right now the world is run by tyrants. The world is run by the forces of evil. The devil has control of the world, okay? And that's why people are feeling miserable. People are in their darkness. If people awake to the truth and people unite, that will bring me benefit, because then I can make a difference. I cannot make a difference in this world if the people are sleepwalking, I tell you straight. Okay, I can only rise to my authority and my position of my true destiny if the world wakes up. Okay, that is me telling it to you straight. I don't need your money. I don't need no one to follow me. I'm not here to, to do anything of that nature right now, because I see there's no point. I'm not here to preach religion when I have not even, I've read the old Bible over 20 years ago. I read the Quran in detail over 20 years ago. I read it now, brush over, through bits, but not in the way I read it a long time ago. So, you know, I don't want to mislead anybody. What I'm telling you guys straight is that there's many educated people out there who are religious scholars and all sorts. But what I've got to share with you guys today is something of your benefit. And if that benefit comes to fulfillment, then you guys will wake up to the truth. And the more people wake up to the truth is going to basically work in benefit of me into bringing me out to the forefront to take charge. That's the only way it's going to work from the way I understand it. Okay. The other aspect is there are 300 plus people out there in search of me, as well as 144,000 chosen ones. So I cannot reform the world by myself. I can only reform the world with the help of you guys. You people will give me power. I will not get power unless you guys are awake. Okay, so that's the whole reason of me coming out, to give you guys this truth. The other thing is, on the 3rd of February is a very special day. 3rd of February is in alignment to cosmic alignment of a grand awakening begins. Okay, it's already started. It's already started in motion. All the planets, everything that's happening in the world, your emotional energy are linked to all the cosmic realms. Okay, so as we move forward with time and we get closer, the 3rd of February is very important because it's in alignment to Shaban. It's a night of power where all accounts are written and accounts are made for the following year. So people who come to worship and, you know, do spiritual practices of, you know, worshipping your creator, especially late in the night, you should make a connection, and it will have positive beneficial effects into your real life. So that's another thing that I wanted to share with you guys, that the time we are coming towards now is a grand awakening in the world. And if you guys come into alignment with that and, you know, recognize that the 3 full moons are very powerful on a monthly basis, you know, it's important to fast on those days, but it's also important to make supplication and prayer and surrender yourself wholeheartedly and, you know, with your full intent, with prostration of the pineal gland on the ground in the direction of Mecca. Is very crucial to do that, because we have a spine. Our spine carries energy, okay? And from the bottom of the spine, when we fall in prostration towards Mecca, it's doing something from our spinal cord, pushing, you know, towards our pineal gland, and its energy slipstreaming towards that direction. So it's very crucial that people make supplication on this night and pour their heart out to the Creator in a sincere way, because it's going to it will have a powerful effect in your physical reality. Moving on, 3-eye atlas again. It talks about the 16 hours, 16-minute heartbeat that the star has in alliance to 7-7. A lot of scientists are studying about this and they couldn't work out what this star is, but it's been prophesied by Prophet Muhammad over 1400 years ago, as well as the Blue Hopi people. Again, this is more details of that, how it's in alignment to 7-7, and why it's in alignment to Rajab the 7th, 1447 with the 16. So everything is in alignment. Again, from 19th of December to 19th of January, the solar flare. Solar flare has brought in the massive destruction in this world. So again, nothing is by chance. Everything is by alignment. Now, this is a picture of me when I was born. It's mentioning 1981, which is the dual eclipse in the month of Ramadan, and then 1402 Ramadan we had the dual eclipse. It also mentions that Israel became a state 34 years prior to me coming into the world. So 3 + 4 is 7. And then after I'm born, it's taken me 43 years to come to 2025. So 4 + 3 is 7. But if you add 34 + 43 equals 77. Now that is not a coincidence either, that everything is alignment to 7-7. Do you understand? That is not you know, I didn't make that up. It's just how the numbers calculate and formulate with 7-7. So again, born in the land of Avalon. Avalon's name got changed to Britannia, and then from Britannia it got changed to Great Britain. So this is the island of Avalon, okay? There is no denying it. The people of this island, especially in Liverpool, the Irish, Scots, as well as the Welsh, these are the true people of Avalon, okay? So this land is their homeland, okay? Anyone else, they've come invaded, okay? This land belongs to the people of Avalon, and these were the real druids, okay? And anyone wants to call them pagan, magician, this, that, whatever, they weren't. There's good and bad. When you gain knowledge in life, the more you accumulate, the more powerful you become. You become a person of light, or you become someone who goes into the dark side. That is dependent on you as an individual, whether you become slave to the darkness or you stay in the compassion of your heart. That is entirely up to you as an individual. So people can say whatever, but even the pagan ways came from God once upon a time, okay? So you need to recognize that all knowledge came from the Creator from the beginning of time. It's what you do with that knowledge which makes you an evil person or brings you a person of God. Okay, so that's that. Now this is another thing of the prophecies which were mentioned. So again, we're going to put a photo of this as well. Carries on explaining the details of the eclipse. The longest eclipse of 1982 was 1 hour 45 minutes 44 seconds. The total lunar eclipse of July the 6th 1982 was the longest lunar eclipse of the 20th century. So you guys can't deny this. It's happened and it's recorded. Fulfillment of the prophecy given by Prophet Muhammad, which I did share earlier on when I said the 4 pages. You have to read them in detail because that will reveal all of this that has taken place. So then that's followed by the Blue Hopi prophecy. Again, this is in detail, 3 pages. Again, you must read this because this is from the ancient age to the old people of the world, just like you guys are the ancestors of the people of Avalon. So even though you have gone 2,000 years on now since this island was called the island of Avalon, we are now 1,500 years on. So, you know, you got to recognize that these prophecies go back to your ancestors, and there's a reason why I'm born here. So for you guys to recognize me coming in the city of the Phoenix, there's a reason behind it. There's a reason why the people of this sort of the Scouser people kind of came up to defend me. You know, I never asked for it. They showed love to me when I used to serve in the armed forces, and, you know, whatever racism that I had to go through, these people for some reason had a natural sort of love towards me. So, you know, there's a reason why I came here. Now we're going to move on to Matthew 12:25. 12:25, because, you know, 25 is 7, but something very crucial is here, okay? So I stated in my past miraculous life that every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. Meaning that if a home is divided, it'll fall. If a neighborhood is divided, it'll fall. If a town or city is divided, it will fall. And if a nation is divided, it'll fall. So it's very simple. I've read people's narratives and BS, right? I don't want to be disrespectful, but the truth is the truth. People have put their own narratives and it is all BS, right? Something as simple as this is very simple to explain. United we stand, divided we fall. And if you don't get this basic thing in 2 lines, then you are bloody full. I don't know what to say to you guys, but it's very simple. United we stand, divided we fall. Who established this? The Spirit of Truth established this. Islam has fundamentally been driven on this principle that united we stand, divided we fall. However, even within Islam, people are so ignorant today that they have divided their own faith. They have created so many sects. There's a reason for me to come now, because now we are in very dangerous times, because people have started even attacking the Quran. We are Quran only. We don't believe in the Sunnah. Blah, blah, blah. Like, all that nonsense. Like, how can you not believe in the physical practices of the one who showed you the way? The book was never written, pre-written for you. It came through the Spirit of truth, meaning that the one who embodied the Spirit of truth in the physical form is a human being, okay? So this individual has not only gained the knowledge through himself, he has lived and he's basically lived and practiced that for all to see. So he is the best physical example of that. Okay. And you guys are now separating him through the source of the book. That book has only become source of revelation for you people through him. How can you separate him and say, we're only taking the book, but then you can't put that book into practice without his example? So you guys are going into denial of the truth. So that's why it's important for me to rise now, because I have seen these problems taking shape in the physical reality of the world, and I don't condone it. I don't support it. All those people who say that we are Quran only, you are going against God, because this individual who's called the Spirit of Truth is very important. Like I said in the beginning, that there's only two people who God has regarded as Spirit. Spirit of Truth, left shoulder, Spirit of God, right shoulder. So that together makes the formation of the right hand and the left hand, okay? You need both hands to survive in this world. How would you feel like if God takes your right hand away and you only have one hand? How would you like it? You wouldn't like it. So God has his right shoulder, his right hand, and he's got his left shoulder, his left hand. How are you saying now that the Spirit of Truth has come into the world and we only take what he's given to us, but we are not taking him as the example, when the truth is that your left hand is used to wash your backside? It's the heart that is in the left side of your chest, okay? And nobody will recognize the truth unless you follow the way. The way was established through the Quran, which is the heart, okay? And your heart won't come to blossoming and recognizing the power of Jesus, as in me, unless you take the Quran and read it start to finish to understand the supreme heavenly law of what we have to adhere to in this life, because that is the manual of your life, okay? So that's pretty much in reference to the Quran. Now, I'm going to show you guys how to decode your date of birth through the Quran, okay? It's very simple and very easy, okay? Once I show it to you, you guys have to do it for yourself. But astronomy and astrology is very important, because the old religions will align and reveal to us our individual frequencies and zodiacs. And as these planets shift through the day and night, they break down into 12 cycles of the months with 4 seasons. And those 4 seasons are also partly complementary to us as living beings, because we are made of 70% water, 30% earth. We still have to breathe the wind. So that's the oxygen we take in and leave the carbon dioxide for the trees to filter and return to us, part of the circle of life. But at the same time, the fire aspect is the growth. Without fire, there's no growth of vegetation. So wind, water, earth, fire is very unison for us as well. Okay. So the aspect of the elements of the 4 elements has 4 worlds inside the one world. So the ocean has a whole ecosystem and a world inside it. The earth itself has a whole ecosystem and a world inside the soil. And then above the soil, there's a whole ecosystem and a world, where each world has top of the food chain to the bottom of the food chain of the animal kingdom, which we ultimately take our unique characteristics from. For example, I've got Taurus the bull, which is my outer physical body's zodiac, whilst lion is the heart zodiac. A wolf is my spirit zodiac, and a wolf is my soul zodiac, and a deer is my spirit zodiac, right? Whilst the eagle is the Horus, which is my pineal gland zodiac, right? So these all align with vibrational frequencies, and this is the true study of each individual to recognize the kingdom of heaven, what Jesus spoke about, what I spoke about, okay? Because from this you learn your true aspect of your Trinity, that your brain has a zodiac, your physical body has a zodiac, and when the spirit comes on the 3rd month and meets with this, it activates the heart with this holy spark, bam, and it comes into the rhythm of life. And now formation begins of where you're going to get your features, your hands, your nose, your mouth, and then you're going to come into the world where your soul is casted into you, activating all your senses, leading to the brain, where you decipher the yin and yang, the light and the dark. And that's where you have to recognize your feminine energy from the compassion of your heart, okay, which we'll have to talk about later on down the line, okay. Well, I'm sure I have brushed over this in the past on other podcasts. So now we're going to go into alignment. So now when I'm born 30th April 1982, it converts to 7th of Rajab 1402. 1 plus 4 plus 0 plus 2 is 777. So we're going to convert this through the Quran now. First, the date of birth. Quran 43:61, Surah Az-Zuruf states that Jesus, as in Isa, is a sign of the coming of the hour, the day of judgment, urging people not to doubt it and follow God's straight path, emphasizing his return as key sign of the end of times and a call to true monotheism and obedience. Okay, so basically, ultimately, he's telling you that I am the sign of the hour. However, we're going to move on from this. So this is again Surah Zorof. I'm not going to go over this because I already read that. So we're going to move on now. It's obviously going into my identity now, Israel, through Abir Mirza, which means God's binding. But so I've basically revealed to you what the date of birth, how you get that out of the Quran. So God's binding is 541, which is the identity of my name. But now we're going to go through what that means in the Quran. So from your name identity, you go into Quran 54 space 1, 54:1. Now what comes out, so my name has a message from God. So what it states here is that the hour of resurrection draw near and the moon has split asunder. Now, one, that is the splitting of the moon asunder is a portent that the hour of resurrection of which you are being foretold has drawn near at hand, and the order of the universe has begun to be disrupted. So the universe has started to get disrupted, and you guys have evidently seen that since the signs of my birth to now, with 3i Atlas coming, and now we've got loads of asteroids and all sorts. Basically, it's saying that now asteroids and all things are going to start attacking and hitting the solar system and all the planets. It's going to disrupt the order of the solar system, and it's going to basically unbalance everything, because now we are going to fall into everything falling out of balance, which is going to lead to the destruction of the world as the system breaks and everything starts unraveling and breaking. So we got a last chance to redeem ourselves before the end of the world. Okay, we're going to move on now to the astral identity of the afterlife. So my name, Abir Zahida Iqbal, equals 384. 384 has a meaning through the Hebrew gematria, which reveals that I am the anointed one or the Messiah of Yahweh. So this is from the Hebrew dictionary coming out, showing you that my afterlife title is my rank in the heavenly kingdom. Basically, me being the right hand of God is revealed through this. So this is not something that I claim this. This is part of my destiny, it's part of my name. From before I was even born, this was always, even in the past life, oh, how are you the Messiah, Messiah, Messiah? I couldn't prove this in my past life. I didn't have this knowledge, by the way. But today I can prove this more than any other life forms, because I can actually prove it through scripture with the alignments of the stars and all sorts, including the Quran, that this is in alignment. Okay, so this is not me claiming this. This is part of my identity, and people need to recognize that, he's claiming this, he's claiming this, he's claiming this. No, I'm not. I'm not claiming anything. The only thing I'm claiming is my identity, which is Abir Mirza, the son of Zahida Iqbal, okay? And I'm not going to deny that. It doesn't matter what anyone says. That's my bloody identity, and I'm not going to deny that, okay? And if that identity means that I am Israel and I am the Messiah, that means I am, okay? You can't bloody stop me from saying it, because it's part of me, and God has given me this right. That's my God right, okay? God has given me this right. I don't need no rights from people. This is God given. Only God can take it away from me. So moving on from there, 384 from the Quran, 38:4 reveals, and they wonder that a warner has come to them from among themselves. And the disbelievers say, this is a magician and a liar. They wondered that a warner had come to them from among themselves, and the deniers of the truth said, this is a sorcerer and a big liar. So people have said this to me, even in this life. I've had youngsters who are half my age, who still live in their mum and dad's houses, trying to disrespect me, right? I don't like it. I do get pissed off. But there's only so much resolve in a person. There's only so much patience that you have within yourself. If you're going to show love to the young and the youngsters and the youthful people, and then they come to disobedience and disrespect, you don't have to respect them. You can give them the full fledge of your filth off your tongue. It's all well and good. I'll be honest with you. I don't tolerate disrespect. I show love and compassion and respect to everyone. But if you cross the boundaries and start showing your nastiness, then you will get that nastiness back from me. Okay, I'm not compelled to be respectful to nobody. Okay, if you can be disrespectful, I can also be disrespectful. So anyway, we're going to move on. The Spirit of Truth is the left hand of God, born in the year of the elephant, and the Spirit of God is the right hand of God. So this, again, I have to show astrology from all aspects of religion, because it reveals to the people where they fall under. Now, through this, it shows I am the right hand in alignment, but it shows a lot more, okay? So this is the heavenly kingdom, okay? They call it the tree of life, but it's not a tree of life. I don't call it the tree of life. I call it the nizam of the cosmos, where you've got all the heavenly realms and where you fall into perspective of the heavenly realms, okay? Now, Prophet Muhammad would have been here as the left hand. Do you understand? I know that. And that also reveals that he's going to be the king of the seventh heaven, and half of the heaven will be his kingdom. The other half will be Jesus's kingdom, and all the other kingdoms will fall under this. So all other prophets will fall under. So it means that Prophet Muhammad will have half of the kingdom of the seventh heaven to rule as a king, whilst Jesus will have the other half to rule. And then above them is going to be the arsh and the throne above that. So that's how it's revealed that the kingdom of heaven has got its own kings, and different prophets fall into different perspectives as the kings. Now, wherever people are aligned through this astrology, it reveals that if you make it to heaven, then you're going to fall into that heaven. That's going to be your realm in the afterlife. And that's what this reveals, that astrology through the ancient systems reveals a portion of knowledge for all to decipher and recognize where you believe in where you belong in the kingdom of heaven. So this reveals where I belong, and it'll also show where Prophet Muhammad is. But every single person who does this for themselves, it will reveal to you guys where you fall into perspective of, if you make it to heaven, you're going to be in that part of the kingdom. Do you understand? It doesn't lie. The stars do not lie. They align with truth. Okay, so that's what that reveals. This image is the ancient one Indian significance to the bull. The bull is basically my physical body. Okay, so I am as stubborn as the bull, with regal from inside, regal in truth from within. But it means that I won't step aside. No matter how big somebody is, if I'm on the truth, you cannot shift me. Okay, it means that I'm prepared to get crucified for the truth. I don't care. You can kill me, you can murder me, you can hang me on a cross, you can do anything you want. I will not give in to you guys. Okay, you can take my life. Okay, it means that I'm so stubborn that if I know I'm on the truth, you can take my life. I will stand by my truth. That's what that shows. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to move on to why number 7 is significant to Jesus, because when you mention Isa in the Quran, he's mentioned 25 times. 2 plus 5 is 7. So 7 is very significant to Jesus and his identity. We're going to move on to this. This is an image of me. By the way, this is AI generated, so my nose is too perfectly straight. I've got a little dimple here. Again, this is part of my identity, but Friday, born Friday, 7th of Iyar, month of truth, 5742 of the Hebrew calendar, which comes into alignment of born Friday, 7th of Rajab, 1402, and then it's reveals through Quran 4361, and Hijri is 1447 equals 7. 1 plus 6 is 7. So now is the time for the unveiling of this truth. So that's what that image represents. Now we're going to go down to breaking it down to a lesser sort of number. So 54.1, we can break it down to further breaking it down. So this is another image. Again, I'm going to share this with you guys online. All these prints have got important information. So my mother's name, 384, Abir Zahida Iqbal, which I shared with you. If you go to chapter 3, passage 84, it says very simple. Verse says, Muslims are commanded to declare their universal faith in Allah and all his prophets, from Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Yaqub, Jacob, Moses, and Jesus, to the final prophet Muhammad, affirming they make no distinction between them and submit fully to God, as in within Islam. This verse emphasizes unity in faith and the continuity of divine revelation, highlighting that the core message of submission, Islam, is the same across all true prophets. So, meaning that whether a prophet came from past of all ages, their fundamental message was to come wholeheartedly to recognizing God as the ultimate creator and not giving homage to anyone, any human being, even as a prophet, you know, to recognize God as the supreme lawmaker and the giver of life. So then we're going to move on to Quran 43:43, which is 7:7. And the passage of 43:43, which converts to 7:7, says, so hold firmly to what has been revealed to you, O Prophet. You are truly on the straight path. So again, this is God telling me, a personal message to me from alignment of 7:7, that what he's revealed to me is the truth, to hold on to it and to not fall astray from what you guys say, okay? Because a lot of people are telling me I'm crazy, I'm this, I'm that. God is telling me don't follow what you people say, because if I follow what you people say, I will waste 20 plus years of my life like I already have done, okay? Because I was naive, I was gullible, I didn't have belief in myself. It's taken me a long time to develop that since my first initial awakening that came to me. So this image reveals the mark on my back. This is the reason why the Pharisees crucified me. They called me a liar, they called me a fraud in my past life. They said many things to me because I never had this mark on my back. So this is the mark on my left side. It's a special mark. It glows red and it's got hair that grows on it, because I've got no hair on any of my back, but only on that little dark patch. So that's a special mark. I didn't know what that was. It started coming out from the age of 12 and it started spreading across. But this mark is a special mark because this is the very mark that the Pharisees denied me. They said, I don't have the mark, so I'm a liar, I'm a fraud, I'm a cheat. And they denied me. But the reason they crucified me was not because of the not having the mark. They crucified me because I stopped them from committing riba. Riba, R-I-B-A, means that the term riba means that they're going to war with God, okay, by exploiting people on usury, okay? Now, my name in this world, in this life, is Abir, the opposite. The meaning of Abir in Hebrew means the strong, the mighty, the general, the oxen, the hero, okay? But in Islam, it means scent of heaven, as in fragrance of heaven. Now, I can see why that is, because if the Muslims follow the fragrance of heaven, it will lead them to heaven. If the Jews come follow the hero, they will be saved. It makes logical sense. However, for the people who have deeper mind and intellect, recognize that ABIR has a valuation of 213. When you valuate 213 from RIBA, the valuation of the numerical value is exactly the same. Everything is made on balance, light and dark. So if riba is evil, making you go to war with God, Abir is not. It's the same. The alphabets are the same. One reads left to right, the other one reads backwards. So Abir reads the correct way, and when you reverse it, it means exploitation of the people, okay? Riba. So you got to recognize that energy in valuation and numbers can be good and bad. It can have dual meanings even, do you understand? So you got to recognize that if they took me off this world committing riba, I have returned into the world where the whole world is now run by the riba system. So back then there was just the Pharisees who were starting that shit. Now I've come into the world which is run by that system throughout the world. The other aspect is back then there was a group of Pharisees who were doing this. Now the world is run by it. The other aspect is there was one Judas back then. I got sold out for a bag of money which Judas took. Today, the entire world will sell me out. That's the truth. I've been sold out by my Muslims. My own people who I've done a lot of business with have sold me out for money. I've been thrown under the bus, not once, over 10, 20, I can countless times by my own Muslim people for the sake of money, okay? And that's me being black and white with you guys. So those guys are not Muslim. Someone who is not, doesn't have true faith, someone who's not trustworthy, someone who will sell the soul or betray you for riches is not a true Muslim. You know, a Muslim doesn't lie, a Muslim doesn't cheat, a Muslim doesn't do all these things what these people do. So these are outcasts figuratively, genuinely they are outcasts. So just sharing the truth with you guys. So I'm just putting things together and trying to say that from my experiences, what I've experienced in this world. There's a lot more. So this was obviously on the 28th of December, I got this information because on the 27th, the first podcast came out. We've got this eclipses coming through in February, March. We've got, this was on the 27th of December, I got this. So you got the crescent moon asteroid going. You got 3i Atlas there as well. There's another one called Juice asteroid, which has made the formation of the crescent moon and star, the symbol of my return coming into the world. But it's, these have been there for many symbols have come and gone. So the thing is, it's all coming down to alignment, conversions of date of births, alphabets and everything. And as you align it all, you will learn that, I am cosmically, biologically aligned from not just the stars, but my bloodline, my DNA can be traced. So I've got Seljuk blood in me, which is Japanese, Mongolian and Korean bloodline, which has married into the ancient Indian bloodline of the Kshatriya. And 1,000 years ago, upon marriage, they converted us to Islam. And then this lunar bloodline of the Jaral Rajput ruled for almost 700 years before the English came and sold our kingdom to the Dogra Sikhs, okay? So then, whatever happened, migration of my ancestors, eventually my mother and father got married and then, came in, they were in England. I was born through that bloodline 1,000 years later. So that's how I've come into the physical reality of this world. So it's important for people to recognize that the bloodline and the history of my bloodline goes thousands of years. And it's also got the British English involved for what they've done to my ancestors. And even though my grandfather served for the British Army, I think that was part of the reason to how I ended up in England, how my father ended up in England, and why I was born in England. Do you know what I mean? So it all goes hand in hand to our history, to me coming into the world from thousands of years. But it's got many bloodlines involved from the Eastern culture and the Eastern religions. For example, Tengrinism is a pagan faith which my ancestors used to follow once upon a time before they came into Islam. And then Hinduism, that was also a faith which my ancestors, other side of the ancestry followed, which came into Islam, so it's important to recognize all this. It's important to recognize all the different aspects of the pagan faiths and the calendar systems by separating the dogma, taking the scientific aspects of truth and separating the dogma to come to conclusion of what is the definition of ultimate truth in alignment through the stars. Anything else?
5 questions.
Sure.
It says, what exactly do you consider to be proof, and how can it be independently verified? So we've gone over your proof there. How can that be independently verified?
Okay, so your date of birth is your date of birth. It's the day you were born, right? You can't change that. People can lie about it, but your birth certificate will show you the exact date and time, right?
Yeah.
With your mother and father's name. So once you've got that, you need to start aligning that with all the truth. So you convert your date of birth to all the calendars. Now, you're not the creator of the calendars, right? The other aspect someone said to me was, which I'll tell you black and white, they go, oh, yeah, but the calendar's been changed. I said, listen, it doesn't matter. He goes, what do you mean? I said, look, if they change the start date of the Gregorian calendar, you say, oh, it's 1st of January, so it should be 1st of April. I said, it doesn't matter. Look, if the start date changes from the 1st of April to the 1st of January, it doesn't bloody matter. He goes, why? I said, because the day you're born and the day you are born, the way the stars are positioned doesn't change. Even if they change the start date, it's irrelevant. Because the day you're born, those stars are positioned exactly in that same position. It doesn't change. So whether the start date changes, it's irrelevant. It is. It truly is irrelevant, because the stars are going to be positioned the way they're going to be positioned the day you're born. So that day is recorded as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So whatever day you are born is recorded. It doesn't change. So whether you go backwards thousands of years to whatever calendar system, that positioning will remain as the same. So when you convert your date of birth from English to Islamic to Hebrew to Mayan to Vedic to Chinese to all the systems, there's loads. So when you convert that aspect of you configuration of all the other systems will be true. Does that make sense? Because it's scientific, because it's not man-made. The stars do not lie with their positions. Cool. Right,
so it says, is this proof something that will convince people who don't already believe you?
Look, at the end of the day, the knowledge is for them, for their benefit. It's not for my benefit. For me to come out and give this truth to the world, it's not, whether they believe or not, that's their prerogative, right? And that's their right to believe or not. God does not force you to say, you have to believe. He's given you freedom to make your own choice. And that's what I believe in. I don't think that people should be bullied. You should not impose anything on no man, because at the end of the day, every human has to make their own distinction and their own definition of coming to the truth. And if they don't want to accept it, that's them choosing to live in ignorance and darkness. Do you understand? So that's their choice. Leave them to it. And that's what I always say. Don't bother arguing with people or getting into combat mode with people, because that's darkness. You don't want to go into conflicting sort of, you don't want to go into conflict. Do you know what I mean? So that's not good. So stay away from conflict. Let people have the freedom to make their own choice, okay? Because at the end of the day, it will come to alignment. And when people do it upon themselves, trust me, they will learn. They will learn, okay? Because then everything starts making sense. Quran comes right at the end, because it's the last revelation. I mean, we would not have algebra in the world if it wasn't for the Quran. So we would not have these phones, we would not have these flying machines, we would not have cars, computers, any of that, so you got to recognize that knowledge came in stages, and it came at a price, a great price of the devolvement of our lifespan, because with knowledge we become dangerous. So if we had 1,000-year lifespan in the age of algebra, oh my God, the world would have been bloody long gone, because of greed of power and status and all of that. People don't want to relinquish power once they got it. Do you know what I mean? So you got to understand, man becomes evil.
Third question. Has this proof been examined by qualified neutral experts historians, scientists, or theologians?
This is something that needs to be done now. So I've got ignorant people who are bottom of the barrel, who'll be rude, who'll be disrespectful, who'll talk a lot of shit to you. But a real educated person who you talk to, who has the ability to decipher and understand this, and they're going to be blown away by it. Because at the end of the day, the truth is, it does blow you away, man, because when you start learning and seeing this for what it is and then cross-examining it with other people. So there's a guy I know on TikTok who's a friend of mine, Forbidden Abyss in America. He's definitely a chosen one because he's got the markings on his hands and the crescent moon. When you join the hands like this, you've got a crescent moon. So he's got the 2 M's. So I know he's the chosen one. But the people who are true chosen ones, you just give them a little, you just tell them the information. They do the work themselves. They have the ability to decipher this information like I did. So the true chosen ones of the world are gifted. They will know how to decipher this. And not just that, even though that is Christian or whatever, you know, white American guy, rides high Harley Davidsons, right? So you can imagine he's proper like rock kind of guy, but he's very, very humble, sincere from the heart. Now, when I was speaking to him, what I found interesting was that he's made sense of so much. And when I said to him, do it through the Arabic thing, and he's already worked out, because this knowledge puts you in alignment to your whole truth from within. So when I gave him the aspect of converting his date of birth to the Islamic calendar and then converting his name and getting the valuation, then seeing what the Quran says, he was blown away. Do you know what he said? He started crying. He was on TikTok live when we done it. He started crying and he goes, it's hit me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, it tells me exactly what I've learned, but now this is God speaking to me. And he started crying because it's really made an impact deep inside him, right? And when that truth comes from God and it hits deeply inside you, it's going to crumble your heart. It's going to bring you to tears. And that's what's happened with him. So I said to him, look, bro, I got a lot of love and time for you because you're such an amazing guy. I said, look, go away and meditate, connect with God, and you know God talks to you just the way you know, he talks to me, he talks to you. I know he does. He goes, yeah, he does. So I said, he gives me guiding. I went to sleep and then this and this came into my thing and then I done it and boom, answers came. I said, there you go. So when God is talking to you and giving you guidance, this guidance has come from your creator, where God has spoken to you now from the Quran. So I said to him, look, go away, meditate. And now you've come to the crossroad to come to an ultimate decision, whether you're going to believe or not, because you've got some serious responsibilities given from God to you. And you understand the law for what it is, means that you are going to be entrusted with authority in this world to either govern a whole area or be a judge. When someone breaks the laws of civilization, you're going to have to execute judgment. And you can only do that because you've got a sincere and fair heart. Do you understand? You're not a tyrant. So people like you are going to have to rise and come true to recognize your ability. So you are given your position of authority to reform the world. It's as simple as that. So these are these special chosen people who will understand the knowledge. I know that. It doesn't matter where they're from. They might be white from America, they might be black or Asian or Chinese or whatever. But I know that there's 144,000 throughout the world who are going to help reform this world and be given positions of authority and power.
If there is any evidence, what would disprove your claim?
I don't think there's anything that can disprove it. I tell you why. When something's in alignment from God, as in the creator, who can bloody challenge God? You tell me. Yes, there's fake people, but I don't think people can challenge God. And if people do challenge God, they are doing it at the expense of them losing their salvation in the end, right? So that's the way I see it. So that's why I got a smile on my face, because there's a lot of people who deny it. And I don't care, you know, you can deny it because at the end of the day, that's your prerogative. But know that if the knowledge, person with the knowledge has come and you've denied it, you're going to be in some serious shit, mate. That's all I got to say to you. So I'm not there to mislead anyone. I'm here for people to guide them to the ultimate truth from past, present, as well as the future events that are unfolding. you know, at the end of the day, you got to recognize it for your own sanity and for your own aspect of your eternity. Because at the end of the day, you got to recognize this life is a very short life. We have come into this world for a very short period, and it goes like a blink. Okay, the eternal life is for eternity, and if you have failed to accumulate the knowledge and to refine your character to become the best version of self in this physical reality, then you have failed the test. You will not be granted the eternal life where you will be able to live in the kingdom of heaven. And that's a seriously a negative place to be, because then you're going to remain in this earth when this earth turns to hell. Okay, and when this earth turns to hell with the 7 layers of hell, I don't know where you're going to fall into, but that's a life of eternal pain and suffering. Do you really want that? Like, come on, have you not had enough pain in this world? This world betrays you. This world leaves you with heartache and pain and suffering. Have you not had enough that you really want to challenge God and the laws that his, you know, all the laws, everything is by design? And if you can't see that and you deny it, like, this is the truth. Like, what I'm revealing, no one has revealed in the world. You know, I see an interview of Andrew Tate, and he was asked, what is the Matrix? He gave a great analogy of the movie, but he had fuck all information about the real Matrix. What I'm revealing to you guys is, when you see the Matrix, the movie, and you see letters falling and numbers falling off the screen in green, but you don't know what that is. But in the end, when Neo looks at, when the movie's about to finish, you see the letters and the numbers falling, but this got visualized images taking place, events, sequence of events. What I'm revealing to you is literally that. I'm converting the alphabets and the numbers of your name and date of birth into real life, actual bloody proof of God's energy and power, okay? If you want to deny this, feel free to. But what I'm revealing to you is the true Matrix, okay? What I'm revealing is the true Matrix and awakening. And with this knowledge, you will come to recognize your true bloody purpose, okay? I don't want to, like, you know, I'm begging you guys to take heed from this, okay? Because it'll put all religions into perspective, in a line, and it'll give proof of all faiths as they came in the sequence of time without the dogma, okay? There's people, the Jesus story has already happened in Egypt with Horus and this and that. So everyone's coming with some aspect of truth, but they're saying it's already happened and this is copied from here, here, here. No, everything is in alignment, okay? There's one man who's going to come at the end of time, which is me. Horus is me. It's part of my spirit. Taurus, the bull of Jesus, is part of me. Leo, the lion, and Horus, the eagle. It's in alignment to me. Okay? This is not made up bullshit. It's actually in alignment through the stars. You know, otherwise everything, what? Can one individual have over 100 coincidences aligned with him, including the mark, the Mongolian mark, my fucking bloody face features, the appearance, you know, all of that? How can one individual have over 100 coincidences tied to him cosmically, with the sun and the moon and all the planets submitting to him? The Torah submits, the Quran submits, the bloody, the Hindu religion submits, you know, like, how can one individual have all those in alignment? Do you know what I mean? I'm the only person who's not trying to bloody create a new sect. I'm the only person who's saying that all of these lot are fake and they are false. You know, the Ahmadi, the Shias, the Qadianis. There's so many sects that have come out based on falsehood. Okay, they've got many followers. I don't want a single follower. I don't need no followers. I want people to follow the truth. True Islam is the way. Okay, only through true revelation of, you know, the spirit of truth showed the true way. Even I don't follow the true way in practice, in truth, because the truth is, I've never gone to, I went to a mosque when I was a kid. I've never been educated through any scholarly programs or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like everything is based on my effort what I have put effort into memorizing, as in what I've learned from within the Quran, i.e. certain surahs, you know, the short surahs. So I feel ashamed because I don't even know my own scripture, which I'm meant to know. I haven't trained myself. And when the knowledge came to me, I wasted 20 plus years living in this world in ignorance because I denied what came to me, if that makes sense. Because it's not wholeheartedly myself, because my family was against me, my friends turned against me, everyone said, oh, I'm going crazy. And the knowledge that I understood, that God revealed to me, they said, oh, this is bad, this is bad. So I never pursued it. It's only now that I've come out, built myself up over the 5 years since I met you. So, you know, it's like I've been judged left, right, centre, and I wasn't able to even pursue the truth.
Final question. Why does this proof only appear now and not in a way that can be publicly demonstrated to everyone?
I think it can publicly be demonstrated. Wallah, I swear on my Lord, yeah? I swear on the Lord who's granted me the very heartbeat that beats at front of you, the breath and life. Okay, and if I lie, I swear, I say that may Lord take my, you know, take my life and end me immediately, right? That everything that I've shared with you guys can be scientifically proven. Okay, if we had a projector screen with the internet set up, I could go online. You know, the truth is I could do a whole presentation on this with a whole stage, on a stage with thousands of people watching, and I can explain this and do it as a workshop where people are sitting with a desk and pen and paper. So whilst I'm showing this, I want everyone to do it on their own name and date of birth, and I want to show people how it's done so they figure it out for themselves. And as we go through one stage to the next, people will be learning, and they can put their hand up and ask me any question where they make an error or a mistake, so we can work together to correct that. Because as you convert the English language to the Hebrew, to the Arabic, there will be changes. Because, for example, there's only 22 alphabets, I think, in the Hebrew language, and there's 28 alphabetical characters in the Arabic. So each letter has a sound frequency. Each letter is correspondent to wind, water, earth, fire, one of the 4 elements. And when a letter is put together to spell a word, that word has energy, which is defined by the power of its valuation and the complete notion of how it's pronounced. So the word has energy. So word has power. And if it's special words and you know how to charge that, in Islam, we have beads, we call it zikr. You can amplify the energy which is behind the word, if that makes sense. So that's where you have the beads. So when you are in a pure state, cleanse inside outwards, in a cleansed state, and you are, you know, worshipping, you know, you go into worship mode and start, you know, practicing something of worship, you can amplify energy when you are in alignment and you know certain things. Now, even when you pray, you know, people pray in a blind way, but I feel that those prayers have no power. Your life, you're still going through misery because you're praying, but nothing's changing. God isn't helping you because you're praying in a blind way. But if you have this knowledge, esoteric knowledge, and understand the cosmos and energy, the shifting of the planets, positive and negative, in harmony with one another or opposing energy, it's real energy. So this guidance is real. For example, when you look at the story of Joseph, it's like Joseph had a dream where the sun and the moon and the 9 planets are prostrating to him in this dream, right? And he's so excited, he tells his father. Now, there's knowledge behind this story, okay? Because he gets thrown in the well, then he's in a prison, then someone has a dream, the king has a dream, and someone says that there's a guy who knows how to calculate the dreams and interpret them with perfection. So he goes, bring this person to me. So he gets pulled out of prison before the king, and the king explains to him the dream, and he says, look, this dream has a meaning. And he didn't just he interpreted the dream. He knew how to calculate the stars. So he worked on his knowledge that God has given him to not just interpret the dream, to calculate the cosmic timing of the positionings of the stars, okay, and as they move through the thing. So he worked it out through calculations that next 4 years, We've got time to build and harvest as much of our grain as possible, because after that we're going to have 7 years of hard, challenging times where we're going to have total drought and we're going to have no produce. So to get through that 7 years of hardship, we need to amass as much grain as possible to foresee us over the hard period. So God said, the king said, okay, you're the vizier now. So he's come out of prison and is raised his status as the second in command from the king. Okay, based on his knowledge of reading the stars and calculations, okay, of how to do these calculations. Okay, so this knowledge wasn't for everyone, but within the Quran, it mentions that the waxing of the moon, the full moon, the waning of the moon is for people of knowledge who know how to calculate and do things. Okay, so there's laws of numbers, there's laws of the alphabets, there's laws of the heavenly planets, the day and the night, and the waxing and the waning and the full moons break down to 12 cycles, which break down the 4 seasons, and that's part of creation: the wind, water, earth, fire. The 4 elements in life we require incognito for life to exist. If one element is eliminated, life would cease to exist. So it's to recognize that we are wind, we are water and earth, 70% water, 30% earth. The outer layer, skin and flesh, is what is the earth. The inside is the body of the ocean. We still breathe the wind, and we still apply the fire aspect of action, which gives us our real life growth. But there's an opposite now. You got to recognize everything's made with perfect balance. So if we are the earthly beings in the physical reality, what's the metaphysical reality? That there's dark entity of Satan, which is made of wind and fire. So they can penetrate us, they can swim right through us, and they can penetrate our thoughts and mislead us and make us exploit us on our dark energies, right? Because they're the ones who plant that through our thoughts, and then we are the ones who action that into our physical reality. So it's very deep. It's for those to understand the yin and yang, the physical reality as well as the metaphysical. So everything's made with grand and great balance. Okay, so it's for us humans to recognize this, and then everything falls into perspective, I believe.
That was my final question. Abir, nice one for providing the proof to back up your claim. Done.
Yeah, well, I think we'll edit this, put it on, and hopefully share this information, because I think that when people copy this and copy it and do it for themselves, for their own self, this is where this knowledge will start making sense to people, and it's going to actually create a massive awakening. I do believe it's going to do a grand awakening in the world. The more people have this, more people will wake up, and then they will start opening the Quran and start reading it for what it is. And I think the more people do that, the more people will come to the truth, and the more people will come to the feminine energy of love, light, and blessings. And I think when you got love, light, and blessings in the hearts of humanity, it's going to make people join shoulder to shoulder, not in an evil way, not in an undisciplined way, but in a disciplined way. Because when you got discipline in unity with love and light, you don't have to be a tyrant. You don't have to be evil. You can be very controlled, and you can dismantle those that are evil, portraying that they are noblemen, but they are not true noblemen. They are tyrants, because they are exploiting and robbing the world, plundering it for their own pockets and for their own greed. And they are the very people who are pitting us against each other and projecting, using their financial wealth and power to give voices to the people who are dividing, the likes of Stephen Yaxley, for example, Tommy Robinson. They are the ones who are funding a person like him to divide the masses. And we need to work hard to give the true knowledge to people, to restore that love and light within themselves, to wake up to the truth, so they are not going to be sheeps to these ignorant lost souls, and come together in harmony and unity to take power from the criminals, from the tyrants, in a loving and respectful way, in a unison way, where the police cannot come against you then, because you are in discipline together. You are not like wild banshees like the right wing. You see them? They're like bloody banshees, like lost They got racism inside them. They got hate inside them. How can someone with darkness of hate give freedom to the world? They don't even have their own lives in balance. They are ignorant. They don't come to the truth. They say, oh, we believe in Jesus. How do you believe in Jesus when you are racist against me? I'm not even white. You've robbed my skin color, my appearance. You've given me blue eyes. But Jesus and any of that message never came to this side of the world. The only truth that came to you people was the people of Avalon. Avalon's people had the prophecy of my truth, not from the aspect of faith from Christianity. It didn't come to you from the aspect of any of the Abrahamic faiths. It came to you from a pagan faith. So recognize that your origins come from the druids of the people of Avalon. Okay, so when you go against me using the scriptures as in the Bible, dogma, which has been hijacked by Paul and all these lot, you are not coming against me. Do you know what I mean? You're coming against me in lies, really. But, you know, these people are very racist, man. I've met them from here as well. You know, they got darkness. You know, even if you share the truth with them, they don't go out and do the homework to calculate it. So what's the point sharing the truth when they remain in their ignorance and then they carry on doing the devil's work to carry on dividing people? When you're not sharing love and all you're sharing is hate, you're not doing God's work. God does not share hate. You know, God's people are people of the light. So, you know, light leads to love. Love leads to, you know, peace. And once you've got peace inside you, that leads to blessings and harmony. You know, if your inside is in turmoil like a storm and you're unhappy, how are you going to attract goodness into your life? You know, so that's why it comes from love. It starts with love. It leads to light. And then that light leads to peace, inner peace. And that inner peace then leads to blessings. Everything falls into perspective when you break things down. And that's the reason why you have to meditate. Meditate abstracts and breaks things down in clarity, like that bottle of water is totally clear, see-through. So when you have clarity, you put everything in order, and without that order you cannot build a house. You know, you have to build the foundation, and brick by brick you have to raise it. Do you know what I mean? And this is how things are, and this is the form of, you know, this is why you have to meditate, because meditate would give you clarity and puts everything into perspective, and then you understand, and then you can think, wow, okay, if you have an engineering mind and you are stuck somewhere, when you have the secret and the ability to meditate, you can put things together and work things out in your brain then. Wow, I didn't think of that. So meditation is what gives you clarity and gives you an opening to carry on your journey in life when you get stuck.